What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie review. Today we are talking about The Force Awakens. And for the sequel trilogies, or as I call them, REYS movies, this was a great addition to the Star Wars franchise. A lot of people online hate REYS movies. And, you know, I understandably don't like Palpatine coming back. I don't like the somehow Palpatine returned, right? Even if they were trying to set up the Mandalorian and Ahsoka to show us how the Palpatine returned, we didn't want the somehow. We didn't even want him back. We wanted a new big bad villain. We thought we had that in Kylo Ren. I like how they tied it back into Han and Luke and Leia. But really, this movie pays homage so much so to A New Hope, and you know, Rey is now our main character. I do love that it's a woman Jedi, esque. She's not necessarily a Jedi, she's a scrapper in this movie, but you can tell that there's something about her. She's got some type of connection to the Force. I hate that the connection is that she's a Palpatine. Like, you could have just left it that she's Rey from Jakku, and she has no last name, and then by the end of the franchise she can take the Skywalker last name if she wants to. But like, that's not the part I'm mad about. I'm part about she shouldn't have been a Palpatine, and if she was, she should have been this huge turn to darkness, and she's has so much evil in her because she's a Palpatine, and then it could have gone into a whole different story. But I do love that, like, she's Luke on the sand planet driving speeders, and I love that the pilot is like the pilot Han Solo, so Poe is like Han, and then that leaves John Boyega's Finn is like Chewie, but they're like different, but they have similarities, you know what I mean? But I do like the differences. I like that he's was a stormtrooper that bounced the fuck out of there because he saw Kylo killing a bunch of random people. I love the reveal that Kylo is Ben Solo. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that are really good in this. BB-8's much better than R2 and C-3PO, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, we just need the one. We don't need two of them. We don't need C-3PO being annoying. As I used to love that gold bastard as a kid. Now he's just, he's annoying. But I love BB-8 and I love R2. I'll always love R2. But I think the ball is better, it's a different take on a droid. It's not just two legs, it's like this ball rolling along. Like, he's fun. He's a fun droid. Never underestimate a droid. But, you get to see an older Han, you get to see an older Leia, you get to see, by the end of this movie, an older Luke. But I just love how it pays homage to everything. But the trio at the beginning here, when Rey meets Finn, and Finn has they're working together to get BB-8 back to the Resistance. He's like lying to her, but somehow they have a connection, right? I would love to know who Finn's parents are. I think Finn should turn out to be a Jedi as well. Like, he's just badass. But that scene where they're hiding on the Millennium Falcon and Chewie and Han run in, that got a huge applause every time I saw it in the theaters. This movie I've probably seen when it came out in 2015. I was a sophomore or junior in high school. I think we saw this, me and my buddies, I think we saw it 3 or 4 times in theaters. We just loved it that much. I definitely didn't see the second or third one that much, but I don't know. It's just something about being alive to experience Star Wars as an adult-ish. Like, I was an older man, not 40s or 50s, but I was in high school where the prequels came out. I was 6 or 7 years old, right? Like, the prequels are my Star Wars, right? And my parents made me love the prequels because their Star Wars was the original trilogy. Then in high school, being able to watch the sequel trilogy, REYS trilogy, it just makes it that much better. And now as a full adult, out of high school, 24 years old, watching Ahsoka and all the new stuff that's come out, it's made me absolutely love Star Wars all over again. I loved it as a kid, got out of it because I stopped playing lightsabers with my friends and building Star Wars Legos. You go to high school, you think you're becoming an adult, and then you get out of high school and you realize all this nerdy stuff that you loved as a kid, you still love. You're just older, and there's no reason why you shouldn't love that shit. You know what I mean? Like, but being able to see Han and Chewie back on screen as they, I love the writing in this movie. All of a sudden they're like, he's like, what about that ship? No, that one's junk. Blows up the ship that they're running towards. Okay, junk will do. They run back, and what is the junk? Oh, it's the friggin' Millennium Falcon. Rey's taking off. You got Finn in the cockpit. And that whole flight battle on Jakku is some of the best, where she stops, cuts the engine, the thing fully rotates over, lines up the shot perfectly for Finn. Finn takes the shot, blows up the guy, she kicks it back into gear, flips the thing back over. Phew. You know, like, it's some of the best we've seen with the Millennium Falcon, and they couldn't have done this shit in 77. You know what I mean? Like, we barely got flying straight in space, you know, like, just see it actually maneuvering. And I think some of the actual fights and battles in this sequel trilogy are some of the best in Star Wars, you know. It's just maybe because of the technology's gotten that far, but as far as this movie goes, you know, you can hate on the sequel trilogy all as you want, but as far as Force Awakens goes, in my mind, to me, you know, The Force Awakens, it's a 4.5-star movie. It's a 9 out of 10. You know, it's a very, very fun movie. Even rewatching it last night, I really enjoy this movie. Even, you know, Kylo, his whole scenes, you know, him and I can't remember the tin chrome lady. Fuck, what's her name? But she's the big Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones. We don't know that because she's covered in a helmet the whole time. But she, you know, some of my favorite actors are in this movie. Even Gleason over there, it was in one of my favorite movies I've watched this year, Ex Machina, with Poe Dameron, Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac is one of my favorite actors nowadays. Poe Dameron in 2015, I hadn't known him from much, but I think that was maybe one of the first things I had seen him in. But now, years later, he's Moon Knight, you know, like, I love Oscar Isaac. He's so fun. Such a good actor. You know, I love the actual location, right? Star Wars right now has been using the volume for most of their locations, and I think most of it looks pretty good. But this Star Wars was clearly going to locations, because this snow planet in the woods here with this fight between Kylo and Rey, and then you see friggin' Finn wielding the lightsaber. Like, I loved to see Finn wielding this lightsaber. I honestly wish we get to see him do it more. We get to see him be a Jedi. Unfortunately, John Boyega, I don't think, had the best experience in Star Wars, but hey, I liked seeing him in Star Wars, so stuff like that I would like to see more of. People like Maz Kanata, she's been around for 1,000 years. This is the first time we've seen her, right? Like, she's seen a lot. I want to know more about her. She's got a story to tell her too. You know, like, that shit's wild. But there's just a lot of good stuff in this movie. And then the next couple movies, I don't think these two shots are in this movie, but this shot with Rey walking with BB-8, and you see these TIE fighters flying over the sunset, just a great shot. And then this shot with R2-D2 in the metal hand of Luke, watching his temple burn down. I don't believe that's in this movie. I think that's in the next movie as well. But, you know, just seeing Rey walk up to Luke, and I thought it was a great ending too. It sets up the next movie for sure. This whole movie pretty much is to find Luke Skywalker. We do find him, and we're like, what the fuck? By the next movie and the next movie after that, episode 8 and 9. I don't know if they nail it for me, but I still, you know, I look back on these movies with some good memories, some great scenes in them. Like, I don't remember which one it is, 8 or 9, but there's one part where Poe Dameron is flying the Millennium Falcon, and he's light speed skipping, and he's, you know, he's whipping around. Some of the best flying action we've seen in any of the movies, but it's crazy. You're like, whoa, what the fuck is happening? We haven't seen this done before, which is good, you know. You shouldn't be watching stuff just like, oh, I've seen this before, seen this before, seen this before, you know. Like, you should be shocked by the things going on, you know what I mean? But this movie overall, 9 out of 10 for me. 4.5 out of 5 stars. I would love to hear what you guys rank this movie out of 5 stars. Comment down in the comment section below. In the description, I have my links to Letterboxd, Twitter. Hit me up on there. Any questions you guys got, anything you guys want to talk about. Most importantly, comment below, what is your favorite Star Wars movie? What is your favorite Star Wars character? And if you have any other movies outside of Star Wars, Marvel, whatever, it can be anything. If you have any movie recommendations for me, put them down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.